Hey everyone, this is Dustin, and today we're going to be talking about exposure compensation and how that can really help out when you're out on location trying to get that perfect shot on the fly. And what it is you can compensate your exposure in your camera really quick without having to worry about any other settings such as aperture or shutter speed. So today, we're out here in this rural country road, and we have some awesome clouds in the skies. We have some nice rolling hills and everything like that. And so we just have a nice opportunity to take some photos. We're just about in sunset hour, and so everything just looks really sweet right now. But I know that there's going to be some really dark areas out there, some really light areas, and I'm going to use exposure compensation to get what I want right away. Okay, so I'm using the Canon 60D right now, and I'll show you how the settings work on that and how you can quickly adjust those settings as we do this. So before we change anything with our compensation, I'm going to go ahead and take our shot. There you go. Normal exposure, it could be a little dark, maybe a little flat depending on what we're going for. But let me go ahead and adjust the settings right here. And on the Canon 60D, you hit the Q, and then you'll just dial around until our exposure compensation slider is selected. And then we'll go from there. You can either dial it up, dial it down, 1 or 2 stops depending on what you're looking for. And also depending on how bright or dark it is outside will also help determine how many stops above or below where you're already at. Okay? So I want it just a little bit lighter from where we're at, so I'm just going to dial this up really quick, take my shot, and there we go. So this is an adjusted exposure compensation, brighter than what we had it before. It's really kind of neat that we didn't really change anything as far as shutter or aperture goes, or even ISO for that matter, but yet we got a brighter photo because we compensated the exposure. Okay, now let me just show you what it looks like if we were to bring the exposure stops down maybe twice on our dial. Okay, there we go. That's what that looks like. Doesn't look too bad. It's probably a little dark. Now if we were doing HDR photography, yes, we're going to want 2 stops below, 1 at the 0 mark, and then 2 stops above 0 to get all the perfect exposures combined into one in post-processing. So this is what we got. It's really sweet. If your camera doesn't support exposure compensation, I'm sure you can always do it manually. Manual mode does not have exposure compensation because they assume that you have complete control over the camera and there's no compensation necessary for that. But if you're in aperture priority mode or shutter priority or even just the program mode, you have access to this exposure compensation and it'll be really helpful. The auto program modes such as action, tulip, or anything like that, you just kind of have to work with it to get the shot that you want. But that's why you're taking this class. We don't want you in those automatic modes, but if you're going to use aperture or shutter priority mode, go ahead and do some exposure compensation, and I think you'll love what you see. Join us tomorrow for our next lesson. We're really excited about it. But if you have any questions about today, go ahead and shoot us an email or give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you out. Okay? But keep in mind, every camera is different. You'll find exposure compensation in different places on different cameras. So be patient. You might have to look up your user manual online if you don't have it, or if you do and it's sitting in a box, just go bust it out and learn about where you can adjust the exposure compensation right on your camera.